Hi there, and you're very welcome to this session, Optimise Your Career with LinkedIn. My name is Jill Barrett, and I'm a career coach with TU Dublin Career Development Centre, City Campus. And whether you're joining us from City Campus, Blanchardstown, or Tala Campus today, you're very welcome. Our role in the Career Development Centre is threefold: education, information, and coaching. We are delighted to come into any of your groups to make a presentation on topics just like this or any career-related matter. If we haven't reached out to you, please reach out to us. From an information perspective, we have great resources on our Career Development Centre webpage at tudublin.ie/Career Development Centre, and also housed on our Brightspace module, Career Development Centre Resources. So enroll for that to be registered to receive our content. Also, we do one-to-one coaching. So if you would like to discuss any career-related matter, please go onto our web pages, find your relevant career coach, and reach out to us. So I'm going to share my presentation with you now. I hope you find it interesting. If you have any questions afterwards, because this is a pre-record, please feel free to either reach out to me at careers.city@tudublin.ie or to your relevant careers coach in the Tala and Blanchardstown campus. So what will we cover today? I'm going to talk firstly about creative job hunting and networking, then why we use LinkedIn. Thirdly, we'll look at who we'll connect with. Fourthly, we're going to look at the schools function, groups function, and companies function. And lastly, number 5, we're going to do an overview of the jobs and recruiter functions. So where do we find the advertised roles? You'll find these on company websites, social media channels, jobs websites. Many public sector bodies will still recruit through broadcast or print media. In particular, recruitment events are another way that we source advertised roles. Agencies also, even though that's a very costly means, some people will use agencies, some employers will use agencies, and obviously the colleges or universities milk round. Creative job hunting, however, suggests that most of the jobs to be found are not actually advertised, or at least not advertised in a way where you will readily find them, where everybody will have access to them. In fact, research suggests that on average across all sectors, a whopping 85% of roles are never advertised. So where are you going to find them? How do you find those unadvertised opportunities? And the secret is to network. Network, network, network. This is a very scary photo of me in the middle of a spider web, but it's just to illustrate how LinkedIn would look if you were to lay it out like this. So you can see me in the middle, and there are lots of connections round and round in circles with all these bars of the web. And you know, I might know somebody in a rugby networking group. I might have another friend in college when I go to college. And I might discover through LinkedIn that they actually know each other, even though I never knew that. I know them both individually. So that's a way for me to connect all three of us and to discover their connections and find out who else we might all reach out to. So LinkedIn is a way to, access that network online through a social media channel and platform. So why do we use LinkedIn at all? Firstly, it gives us a professional online presence, particularly important if employers or recruiters are going to do a Google search on you or any search engine search on you. You want to make sure that they find a professional perspective on you, and you will get that because LinkedIn is what we call highly search engine optimized. So if somebody puts your name into the search engine and you have a LinkedIn profile, that's likely what they're going to see first. Secondly, it builds relationships with and intelligence on people, subject matter and disciplines, sectors, trends, jobs, research opportunities, and also potential recruiters, investors. If you're starting your own business, you might be looking for an investor, collaborators. If you're investing, if you're engaged in research, you might be looking for collaborators, and much more. It's a great source of advertised and unadvertised opportunities. So through the briefcase at the top of the page, if you're active on LinkedIn, you'll know the little briefcase. That's the jobs function. It's a paid for function, but there are advertised jobs in there. And when we say the unadvertised opportunities, those are the ones sort of that it's not a paid for advertisement, but they put them in their feed, mention them sort of discreetly, if you like, or more discreetly. So if you're following those companies, you're going to spot those vacancies in their feed. So we say more than 90% of recruiters use LinkedIn regularly, but not many of them will be using the advertised, the paid for function on LinkedIn. They're going to be recruiting more discreetly by putting those vacancies in their feed. And lastly, we use LinkedIn because it assists you in preparing for interviews. Particularly important in terms of researching the company, the sector it operates in, who its competitors are, who the stakeholders are, and so on. But also, if you can find out who's on the panel, you can research them on LinkedIn and know a little bit about them before you go in, and that will always be advantageous to you. So who will you connect with? In the first instance, the easiest people to connect with are your family, friends, classmates, and workmates who may be already on the platform. And when you're invited to build your profile first, it will invite you to send out emails to everybody in your network to ask them if you want to connect on LinkedIn if they're there already, and also to join LinkedIn and connect with you if they're not on LinkedIn. The second group that you might consider reaching out to would be graduates, if you can locate graduates of TU Dublin who might be very useful to you in terms of connections in the future. The third might be professionals in your fields of interest. The fourth, your college staff, so especially lecturers, tutors, supervisors, the school management team, maybe the placement officer, career coaches like ourselves, and the alumni officer. Sometimes you might get a little bit of resistance from tutors or lecturers. They might say, sure, you're only in first year, but you are going to remind them that you may be the CEO, managing director, lead research scientist of the future. And that's why it's good to connect with everybody that you know. Obviously be wise in terms of who you connect with. If you feel that somebody is maybe, connecting with you, and you're not just sure about them, then, you don't have to. But remember that you can disconnect from them later. So don't be too fussy. You want to build your network as much as possible, particularly early on. And the last group that you might like to connect with would be recruiters, both those in companies and also those who are maybe working for agencies that will be keen to spot you. A sample note to add with your invite, you might write something like, "Hi John," it's just a random idea of what you might write. "Hi John, I'm a third year student of mechanical engineering in Technological University of Dublin, and I'm interested in knowing more about," and include the name of the company. "I see that you've been with the organisation for a number of years, and I'd love a chat with you about any insights that you might have." And I said company there, but of course, the word organisation as it appears on screen now is more important, because a lot of you might be working for public sector, not-for-profits, and so organisation is the word we use. So many thanks, Aoife. So just sign it off nice and personal. It should be professional, but keep it reasonably informal at the same time. You want to make it inviting for them to receive. Always say thank you. So always, once the person has hopefully accepted your invite to connect, always reach out and say, "Look, thanks very much for connecting." And you might use that as an in then. You can say, "Look, I'm just wondering, would you be free for a virtual coffee next week? I'm at a bit of a crossroads in my career, and Jill Barrett suggested you might be a good person to speak to." Or again, I'm looking at some research that I might be doing for my thesis. I have an idea I'd like to share with you. Or just quite simple, I'd love to know more about what a managing director does, in a typical week or a typical day. So don't worry that because you're a student, nobody will want to talk to you. I can pretty much guarantee that when you're a student, everybody wants to talk to you. When you get out into the big bad world and you become more mature, or maybe you're a mature student already, but when you have a student, after your name is in you have the title of student, you have perhaps a greater chance of getting in contact with people that you otherwise might not. I'm not going to go through this video, and the link to it is going to be on the last page of the presentation, but it's just to allude to it. It's an overview of LinkedIn produced by the people in LinkedIn, just starting your career search there. So, or starting your career profile there. So by all means, check this out after the presentation. What else is useful in LinkedIn? Well, you're going to click in the search box. I'm just going to show you that in a moment. And in that, you'll find sort of hidden tabs that will be schools, which is the alumni or graduate function, groups, the companies function. Also, you're going to see in LinkedIn other things that might be useful, like LinkedIn jobs and LinkedIn recruiter. So with the schools function, you're going to be looking at the TU Dublin one, obviously, because you're TU Dublin. With groups, remember, join many is the guidance, contribute to a few, and LinkedIn will always encourage you to start one. You don't have to do that, but they like you to do that because it drives traffic to their site. But as long as you join a few and contribute to a few, that's what we would advise you to do, and obviously follow companies. So here you will see the sort of things that you should be looking out for. So again, to find these tabs at the top where it says companies, groups and schools, that's what I'm going to focus on just briefly today. Always go home, as I say, always go to the home page, then go into the search box, click in search, and then once you've pressed return in the search box, you'll get these tabs. So those tabs that you can see on the page, posts, jobs, companies, groups, schools, they are hidden, but they are revealed once you click return in the search box. And again, the advice, always go home. So if you're searching in companies and then you want to go and search in groups, don't just go back up to the search box on the same page. Always go home, press return in the search box, and then go into the groups. Otherwise, you won't get the results that you want. The alumni function then, and again, won't play this today because our time is short and is pre-recorded, but I would encourage you to check out the video. The LinkedIn profile link to it is in the resource page at the end of this presentation. And again, if you want to access it, you need to have a profile in existence already, and you will need to have a TU Dublin address. If you have any problem accessing any of the videos, reach out to your career coach and they will help you. So the graduates function, you'll be searching for Technological University of Dublin. And actually it should say a company, not school. So I still have school there, but they've changed that. It's going to be company. From the drop-down menu on the left, you're going to choose alumni, and then you can start searching by keywords. We always say start broadly and then refine. If you start putting in the exact title of your program, you could get 30,000 alumni listed there, and there aren't 30,000 from your program there. You need to start broad. You might say something like product design and Sydney, or even product design, and then just click into the Sydney category and check out who's working in product design in Sydney. It's really, really useful, the alumni function, because it means you can reach out to any graduate or alumnus of TU Dublin, formerly DIT, anywhere in the world. Just a thing to bear in mind, those of you who would have maybe started out in TU Dublin when it was DIT, remember that all of those profiles are merged now. So people who were graduates of DIT will be appear as TU Dublin graduates now on LinkedIn. And you could filter the search results by what people do, where they work, what they studied, etc. And you can check the dates that they were employed. So obviously you might be interested in the more recently employed ones in a particular company. You can also search, of course, from the main text box on the home page and use the filters if you want to search for alumni. But this is a really useful tool to reach out to specific graduates of TU Dublin. The groups function then, these are informal communities formed around industries, professions, themes, niche topics, etc. The groups are an excellent source of information, folks, and also provide discussion forums on topics that are relevant to the group. They reckon that group members get about 4 times the number of views if you're active in the groups. And it's really easy once you're in a group to connect with one another. And it's easier for recruiters to contact you this way. And the lovely thing about the groups function on LinkedIn, say you discover somebody in LinkedIn, they're a 3rd degree of connection. You've reached out to them, you've sent them an invite to connect. They haven't come back to you. You can find out if they have a membership of the group. And if they do, you can seek to join the group, and then you get an opportunity to message them directly in the group, which is a fantastic opportunity or resource to have. So you mightn't be able to connect with them. They could be the CEO of, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, whoever you fancy contacting, and you find they're in a group and you can message them directly within a group. So you can raise, remember, you can raise your profile by sharing, liking, commenting on information and posts in the group. And it's really good for you to start posting in there, maybe posting articles or things of interest, maybe an abstract from some research you're doing, a useful article you came across, and people will start to recognize your name, to see it more frequently, and also to recognize that you're bringing value added to the community in LinkedIn and the network. Companies, again, always go home, as we've said. Click in the search box and then you'll get the company's function tab popping up, and then put in the search for any companies you want to follow. You start following them and then, hey presto, you get a lovely feed into your inbox of any roles that they might have on offer, in addition to just general things that are going on for that organization. Really useful, folks, when you're going to interview. You'll, remember things almost by, osmosis. They're going in all the time. All of that information is feeding into your brain, and you'll recall, gosh, I must go check out the company, go back through their feed and remind myself of that project they're involved in, that award they got, so that when I go to interview, I can mention that. The jobs function, again, it's a paid for function, so not lots and lots of companies and organizations use it, but of course some do. So definitely use it. You can click on jobs, enter keywords and locations, note current interests, manage alerts. And also you can go into your profile, as you might have seen appearing on around some people's photos, a little loop saying you're open to opportunities. And indeed, many recruiters will say they're open to recruiting, so receiving applications from potential recruits. And what does the LinkedIn recruiter function that they pay for, if they pay for it, get them? Well, obviously they can check out, they can message you. So if they have LinkedIn Premium as well, they can message you, and they look at the overall appearance of your profile. They'll check out your qualifications, where you've worked, and they also will check out your location. And they also might just check out your profile content against your CV. So make sure that that those match up. And again, do make sure that you make yourself nice and available and open in terms of your settings, so that people can contact you if you want them to. So some useful resources just as we follow our finish up. Obviously the video there for an introduction to LinkedIn for students, and also the second one on alumni. Our details there for the TU Dublin Career Development Centre. And also, if you want to get into our own resources on LinkedIn, you'll find it there on our TU Dublin Career Development Centre LinkedIn resource under L. So that's our presentation for